Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. So today we want to talk about Andrew Yang, his podcast Yang Speaks, and talk a little bit to what it's been about, what has it accomplished for the Andrew Yang platform since leaving the election campaign, and what it's going to mean going forward into the future, even as we look at his teaming up with CNN. As we understood it, Andrew Yang wanted to remain relevant in the public space so that the topics humanity first, universal basic income, the freedom dividend could also stay on the minds of the people. Now, interesting enough, Andrew Yang didn't anticipate that his platform was going to stay in the public's eye anyhow with the onslaught of COVID-19. So much so to the point that the Trump administration requested data from the Andrew Yang camp in order to help to deal with the crises in stimulating the economy. Now, of course, we also know that Andrew endorsed Joe Biden after that. And what does that mean? Well, we began to understand that this was him and Joe Biden had found some common interests, some common ground, and that Joe Biden, even during the campaign before Andrew dropped out, was very much interested in ideas like the fourth industrial revolution, ways in which to address the coming crisis of what will be automation taking north of 47% of the jobs, never to be seen again, right? Now, according to some data that Andrew recently came up with on Yang Speaks, speaking with David Axelrod, who was the former campaign manager to the Obama administration, that already 42% of the jobs are gone for good, right? At the end of COVID-19. So what we have here is we have this shape up now, this very interesting time to implement many of Andrew's policies. Andrew now being promised a position on the Biden cabinet. Not sure what that position will be. Of course, many of us would love to see Andrew as at least the vice president. But it's probably more likely that Joe Biden is looking for a female candidate, potentially one of ethnicity or something to that effect. Some have projected it may be someone like Kamala Harris, and there's a few other candidates there. And I don't think that will necessarily be a bad move for the Biden administration. Also, to keep in mind that in looking at Andrew being part, and which I hope will be an instrumental part of the Joe Biden cabinet, I believe a lot of these policies, especially in the particular climate we're in now with the economy, COVID-19 pandemics, and as we recall, even before that, if we go back prior to that, Andrew Yang had already blown the whistle on automation within the next 5-10 years, taking about something like 47% of the jobs, right? So we were already in trouble. Of course, this has kind of speeded up where we're headed. And a lot of people think that recovery is possible. They're looking back towards what Trump was able to do initially in this economy. But as we move ever so closer to what is considered to be what would be something akin to a cataclysm in our economy, it's getting less possible to do that. So a lot of people think Trump will be able to just revive this economy if he's elected again. And I think a lot of people in the economic world, a lot of economists at this point don't agree that that will happen. it's moving ever so closer to the predictions of Andrew Yang, I believe, right? So basically, in short, that means that we need a government that's going to be open to implementing policies like what Andrew Yang has proposed, being open to them and being willing to put them in operation. And some people don't really trust Joe Biden. I understand that. But I think at this point in time, the interest that Joe Biden has shown in Andrew Yang, the openness he's had to Andrew Yang in this policy, and because many across the aisle as well have accepted his message, I don't think Joe Biden will be the type who, if that's what the people want, denies that. Right? I think he's going to work within the framework of helping to get those implemented. Right? I think he believes Andrew's a very smart guy. I think he's going to trust Andrew a lot. And so, in short, I think Andrew Yang being part of the Biden administration is going to work a lot to Andrew's favor. It's going to be as close now as he can get to being a president. You know, not to mention then later he can run, being a candidate again. He's going to be quite relevant. His policies were spot on, especially dealing with this crisis leading up to what would be our next big crisis of unemployment and a great amount of job loss. Right? So that's why we need to, I think, at this point in time, really strategize and really understand what's at stake here and what's going to need to happen going into November, right? This economy is now moving more into an economy we've never seen before, and we're going to need strategies, new ways of doing things that haven't been done before. We cannot continue to use 20th century methods of examining our economy and in an economy that is so sophisticated now, that is introducing new types of technology and artificial intelligence to create systems that we, unlike ever before in human history, have been able to do. This means that we got to change with the times, right? And if we look at somebody like Donald Trump is not even anywhere in that mindset of how to approach a problem like this. And I would say the same thing about Joe Biden, with the exception he will be having on board an advisor like Andrew Yang. And what I loved about the David Axelrod, his guest starring on his latest podcast there, was that David Axelrod spoke a lot about how during the Obama administration, this was a time they had to go for something big. They were attacking healthcare and trying to come up with an overall solution to healthcare. Some people don't feel they succeeded in that, but the point is they tried to go big and try to figure out a way to address this. And this is how we're going to have to deal with this economy going into the future, right? This is a much different type of situation with technology. Part of the issue is that when we think about ideas like the fourth industrial revolution, and we move from that point to ideas like what happened in the prior industrial revolutions, which is you would have this technology emerge, it would open up new markets, and people would learn new skills and new jobs. Here's the problem. The human brain, the human mind, has already outgrown the cranium, right? It's reached this capacity. And many scientists believe that this means that we are hitting a level here where we're not going to be able to get any smarter, and the computers and artificial intelligence, artificial minds will continue to do so going forward into the future. This is a huge problem because what it means is at some point, the capacity of artificial intelligence will surpass us. And they will be able to self-repair, self-create. They will be able to create works of art, music, making much of the the contributions, for lack of a better word, of people challenging against these super highly advanced computational contraption, making it very difficult for human beings to keep up. So in short, it's like saying we won't be able to keep up, and we're going to have to come to terms with that, going into a different system, creating a different 21st century model, creating a different idea of what we term as work, and all of those things are going to have to take place. Um, so for many of us who sat on the fence about Biden, I've always spoken to the Yang gang, and we've always been on accord with Andrew Yang was the way into the future. Things have changed. The political machine, the bicameral system, has made it difficult for Andrew to become president. But not only that, the lack of education and information about universal basic income, about Andrew Yang. The fact that many Americans are busy just trying to make ends meet. They don't have time to philosophize. They don't have time to become political scientists. Very difficult for the average American to sit home and ponder these things and really understand many of these things. And so what's happened is a lot of them have misunderstood Andrew Yang. It's been a little bit over their head at this point in time, but we believe, just like what happened with COVID-19, things will be accelerated to a point where I believe the majority of Americans are going to support universal basic income, be in line with it. And I don't believe it's a question of if, but just a question of when this is going to happen. And that when, I think it's coming very soon. And saying all that, basically we have to understand that the Joe Biden play is probably the best play for universal basic income within the scope of our government right now. So it's probably, I know some people just want to still vote for Andrew Yang and not for Joe Biden, but listen, Andrew Yang is going to be on the Joe Biden cabinet, right? We still got a chance of getting a lot of Andrew Yang policies some way pushed through the Joe Biden administration. Absolutely, positively won't happen if Trump wins. And so we got to think about that. And how we got to look at this, we got to vote for Joe Biden if we're serious about getting some form of universal basic income in this country to help push that forward. And that's just the way it is right now. But Andrew Yang speaks. So far, it looks great. I haven't had a chance to watch every episode as of yet, but I have seen the Mark Cuban one. I'm trying to catch up. We'll try to get a few more Andrew Yang videos out a little bit more regularly, because a lot of us had kind of fell off when Andrew dropped out. Andrew didn't stop the fight, but maybe some of our YouTube community did, because maybe we thought that the fight was over, but it's seemingly not over, and Andrew had his contingency plan, his backup plan to go forward. So real quick before I get out of here, guys, I just want to tell you about our project, Bitcoin MYK, Universal Basic Income Project. Yes, this is going to be the first big push in our government to maybe first get our first universal basic income implemented. But I believe that the private areas, the private sectors are also going to need to do their part in universal basic income. And we're seeing many social systems, social platforms, social media engage some form of universal basic income. So you can join ours today, absolutely free. Start earning real value, real money, absolutely free, for doing nothing but what you're doing right now, partaking in social media and ideas like that. So let's get you over there right quick. Tell you a little bit about how to get started with that. All right, and we're here over to the site, Bitcoin MYK, deflationary coin, free coin to the people, universal basic income project. You earn this cryptocurrency absolutely free. Now, to help you understand, Andrew Yang has spoke about our data, social media, our data being the oil of the 21st century. To put it in perspective, Facebook right now is a $500 billion company. And who puts the value in Facebook? You, the end user, right? You make that value. You make that that large amount of value possible, although Facebook only shares the value with a very small pool of its investors, that doesn't have to be the case with us. We can create our systems through ideas like blockchain technology, right? Decentralized money, deflationary money, of course, meaning that the government can't create more of it and potentially steal the value from citizens. And projects like what a passion project of mine, being a student of the economy, I've created this project to give back to us, to help us along with ideas like um, uh, government universal basic income, right? But also to have private companies doing it as well. That only helps to make the system more sustainable and better. And that's why I think all of these working together, the idea of Andrew Yang creating a government universal basic income and us as a people creating private sector universal basic income, I think is going to be a perfect formula. Now, how does this work, and why do we think this is going to be a home run and a way going forward into the 21st century? So, what you're doing right now is you're watching a video on YouTube. What some of you may or may not understand or know exactly how it works is when we make these when we make these YouTube videos, where some of us are what is called a YouTube partner, right? I happen to be a YouTube partner, right? That means YouTube cuts you a check when you make a video. Because the advertiser is paid on your video, the more you get, and so that information, that value to marketing companies and businesses and the like, they generate money, right? Generate value. That value goes to that circulates back around and gets to that business. But we're able to create a system where that value not only circulates around and contributes to that business or adds value to that business, it gives value back to you, right? And the simplest way to do something like this we found is through what you're already doing right now, watching videos. So if you think in terms of something like YouTube, it is worth $100 billion, right? So think about this. YouTube is worth about 100 billion. Facebook is about 500 billion. Putting these two ideas together is what we've done with Bitcoin NYK. It's a social network, it's a video platform, it's a platform you have an account you can post to, you can post your favorite quotes of the day, you can do a variety of things. And the kind of value, if you can imagine building a $500 billion company, which is quite conceivable with something we can do with a project like this, because the way I see it, most people are going to accept universal basic income in the future. They're not going to have much of a choice. They're going to want to do that. It's going to be the best choice and the only choice probably that can be made. And having that much value to circulate around, that's going to create a lot of universal basic income checks going out to end users every month, as they are so instrumental to building the value of the platform, right? And so that's where we're at with this. And you can join us absolutely today, free. Start earning, spending real money free. As more people join, more people gain, more revenue comes into the project. We all grow together, and this becomes a system through this global blockchain technology. You can send money back and forth. You will be able to have your own bank account with you free of charge and be able to send money anywhere internationally around the globe absolutely free. You heard that correct, right? The technology is here. It is available to you absolutely free. Have any questions at all about this, leave them in the comment section. Make sure you do that, or leave a comment in our chat rooms on the website, bitcoinnyk.com. But that's all I got to say in this video, guys. If you like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, as always, take care.